what's up guys? I'm Steve Wells, and today we are going to be talking about a watch I've been testing out for a little while now, and that is the Garmin Forerunner 55. So this is the newest version of Garmin's kind of base entry-level watch. So this one can be compared to the Coros Pace 2, which I did a review about a couple of weeks ago if you want to check that out. So I'll be comparing this watch to that one a little bit. And this is going to be less of like an in-depth review of me going through menus on the watch and that kind of thing, and more of just kind of pros and cons to keep in mind whenever you're considering purchasing one of these, or if you're trying to decide between different models from Garmin or maybe going with another brand. I'm not going to go over all of the specs for this watch. There's a lot of stuff there. You can find all of it online on Garmin's website and that kind of thing. I'll leave the stuff that I think is important down in the description down below if you want to check that out. Before we get started, be sure to head down to the description. Also, click the link to my Patreon down there. Consider becoming a patron. Would really help me out, help out the channel, help keep me doing what I'm doing. But let's get right into it. First of all, I'll acknowledge the elephant in the room. The beard is gone. My face is so small. This is the shortest it's probably been in 2 or 3 years. I did film a video of me doing it. I don't know if I'll post it or not, but when this video comes out, it will either be on my Instagram if it wasn't that great of a video, or will be on my YouTube, which if I posted it, you can check it out up here. Also, I'm sorry, it's kind of a mess here right now. We are getting ready to move, so please excuse me being too lazy to clean up before this video. So getting right into it, the Forerunner 55, first thing when you pick it up, it feels nice. I mean, it doesn't feel like you're holding a Phoenix in your hand, but it definitely feels like a higher build quality and higher quality of materials than the Coros that I was testing out a couple of weeks ago. It feels more like an actual watch and less just like a little piece of plastic in your hands. Also, the band is all rubber. I like rubber bands because they don't absorb sweat and smell as much as kind of fabric-y or nylon ones do in my experience. However, the bands do tend to kind of rip over time. You can actually, I don't know if you can see that there, but my Instinct is starting to rip on the notches that I use all the time. And while you can buy replacement bands, that is a bit of a problem when it comes to using rubber for something like this. Like I said, this is kind of their base level watch, around $200. And it just kind of does everything that you need it to do and nothing you don't. So you can track all of your runs, your walks, swims, that kind of thing, and track your heart rate, your sleep. Even has VO2 max, which is a pretty good thing for this price range. I found when I was wearing this watch that it's super light and comfortable, so I'll throw it on here real quick so that you can get a kind of comparison. That's how it looks on my wrist there. Not super huge, pretty low profile. Doesn't really like hug your wrist as much as the Coros, but definitely more than something like the Instinct, which, to give you an idea, this is kind of the size of the Instinct, kind of comes up off my wrist, is much thicker than the Forerunner, but also has a much bigger battery in there, so that's probably, I would guess, where a lot of that size is coming from. So when I was wearing this, I actually found myself like messing with it and being kind of uncomfortable with it a lot less than I do with my Instinct. And also, while it doesn't lock like the Pace 2 does, it doesn't, when you're bending your wrist, it doesn't bump buttons like I do on my Instinct. A lot of times on this watch, I will look down and just from moving my wrist, I've like hit buttons and accidentally started an exercise, which is kind of annoying when I want to just glance down and look at the time. But that has not been a problem at all with this watch. Some other cool features on this watch, it actually has a mode where if you hold in this button here for 3 seconds, it will send out an emergency text message and your location to preset contacts that you have. So if you feel unsafe when you're out on a run or anytime, or if you get hit by a car, or even if you trip in your apartment and break your ankle and need someone to help and can't get to your phone, you can call for help using that. It does have to be linked to your phone in order to do that. So if you don't have your phone with you, it's no good. But if you are, say, out on a run and it's in a belt and you can't really get to your phone quickly, or you want to do it subtly so that someone creeping on you doesn't notice, or if you trip and fall and your phone is in another room but still linked, you can call for help using your watch. Also, when it comes to the preset watch faces on this, don't love them. They are not nearly as cluttered, I feel like, as some of the Coros ones. This is the one that I chose right here. I think it's just a default one. I think I changed the color on it or something. But there are lots of other watch faces that you can get on your watch through Garmin. So you can probably find something in there that works to fit your needs. When it comes to the screen on this watch, it's not a super high quality screen. The numbers there are kind of pixelated and that kind of thing. However, when you are out on a run, it's bright enough to see in bright sunlight, and I never really found it to be a problem. Another pro is that it has, all of your regular smartwatch features. You can get your texts, your emails, your Instagram, Snapchat, whatever you want, you can have sent to your watch. You can choose which ones you do want sent and which ones you don't want sent. For me personally, I don't like that because it just kind of distracts me during the day, and I would rather be looking at my phone whenever I see those things. But for a lot of people, if you're in a meeting and just want to glance down, see if it's an emergency text or just a person saying hi, be super useful. This watch also has Garmin Coach on it, which is pretty cool. I set it up, I didn't actually use it, but it will give you options for what coaches you want to have, ask about your ability level, ask about what your goals are, and create workouts based on that. Automatically upload them to your watch so that day of, when you're going out for your workout, you don't have to program a workout into it. You don't have to go on your computer and make a workout before you go out. It's just automatically on there. You can just hit start. It tells you what your workout should be for the day, if you want to do it off of the training plan. If you don't, you just decline it. If you do, you just start the activity and it will tell you when to stop and start, and you're good to go. So that's all the pros I have for this watch. Let's move into some cons. And while I don't have a ton of cons, the cons are big enough that it was having me kind of second guess whether I would want to buy one of these or not necessarily. So my first con is just kind of generally the Garmin app. It's not too unwieldy, but it just kind of is confusing compared to a lot of other apps that are out there that are just better designed. And there's just a lot of stuff in there. It's kind of sometimes hard to find what you're looking for, but that's going to go along with any Garmin that you get. There's also no music option for this watch. So watches in Garmin's lineup that are just a little bit more expensive, like the 245 and the Vivo Active, you can download music onto, and you don't have to take your phone to listen to music on your run. However, with this one, there's no music option. You do have, if you hold down this button here, you can control music on your phone from your watch. So if you had your phone in a pocket or whatever and didn't want to get it out to skip a song or whatever, you can control it from your watch, but you do have to have your phone with you in order to do that. Another con is there's no triathlon activity. If you do triathlons, you're going to have to end your activity, start a bike ride, end your activity, start a run. And if I was doing triathlons, I would definitely not get this watch because of that. I would get the Coros Pace 2 because it has the triathlon activity. And my last con is the battery life. So I've become kind of spoiled with my Instinct and with testing out the pace, and I don't charge my watch like ever. I charge my watch maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, something like that, and I just really don't worry about it that much. But with this watch, I actually went to use it and the battery was completely dead. It probably only lasted me 3 or 4 days, and just doing like short activities and that kind of thing. So if you were doing longer runs or running every day, you're probably going to have to charge this watch a couple of times a week, which isn't a big deal if you're coming from like an Apple Watch that you have to plug in every single night. But if you are used to a watch that has 60 days in watch mode or 20 hours in GPS mode, you're probably going to be a little bit shocked on how often you have to plug it in. But that is about all of the cons that I have for this watch. I could go on and on with cons that were just features that this watch doesn't have that more expensive watches have, but this watch really has everything that you would expect from a watch in this price range, in a pretty quality, easy to use, comfortable package, and I was really impressed with it. So when it comes to watches in this price range, who would I recommend this watch to? Pretty much anyone that's just kind of a casual athlete. If you're just going out for runs, if you're just doing kind of casual swims, bike rides, that kind of thing, just want something to track your fitness, something to track your pace, your mileage, this is perfect for it. The only reason I would second guess getting this versus getting the Coros Pace 2 is because of the battery life. If you want something that you hardly ever have to charge, or you are doing triathlons, I would go with the Coros. But I would say for pretty much everyone else, with the features you get in this, with the build quality of it, and with the price, I would probably go with the Garmin, unless you were worried about those couple of other things. Personally, which watch would I buy? I would still wait for a sale on the Instinct and get it for around $200, because for me, it's a good balance between the battery life and all of the features that you're getting. But that is only because I don't use a lot of the features that are on some of these other watches that other people probably would. So next time you guys see me, I will probably be in a different apartment, which I can talk about a little bit in a future video if you guys are interested. But right now, I gotta wrap this video up. I gotta get back to packing. So I hope this video was helpful. If it was, be sure to like and subscribe down below. Check out the link to my Patreon in the description, and I will talk to you guys next time.